Hello, and welcome to this little channel. Thank you everyone for supporting the channel up until now. Today we will continue the story of Suzuki Satoru as Ainz Ooal Gown in the New World. I hope you will enjoy the journey together with me. They had heard that he had assumed control of the Katsi Plains. Perhaps he had obtained something from there that would prompt him to do something like this. If that's the case, we can anticipate their next move. Why are you so certain of that? He created those unholy lands to serve as a buffer between him and the council state. That way, the unholy lands will help protect his country from the council state. Then, he'll be able to turn his attention towards the theocracy. The room fell into silence. All members present compared the sorceress kingdom to their own country, especially in terms of military power. Everyone bore pained expressions. No one could maintain composure. The reaction was understandable, as they were reminded of the intel they had received regarding the sorceress kingdom during their last meeting. The sorceress kingdom's battle against the kingdom on the Katsi Plains displayed their undeniably overwhelming and malevolent power. The sorceress kingdom was extremely tricky to deal with, even for the trump card of the theocracy, the Black Scripture and its god-kin members. Moreover, the true power of the sorceress kingdom remained unknown. The more they investigated, the more it felt like staring into a dark, bottomless abyss. No number of troops would be enough, so we have to form a comprehensive alliance with the council state. That's right. Then whenever we're in a pinch, we will be able to receive reinforcements. Everyone smiled sarcastically. Reinforcements powerful enough to save the theocracy would never be sent. That much was plain to see. True cooperation is impossible for states with completely different goals and ideals. Some reinforcement could be expected if an alliance was formed, but there was no way that the Platinum Dragon Lord himself would come to their aid. If either the theocracy or the council state fell, then the full might of the sorceress kingdom would come to bear on the nation not yet affected. To avoid that, the correct move would be full cooperation to pool their strengths together against the sorceress kingdom. However, hypothetically, if the alliance were to invade the sorceress kingdom and win, what would happen afterward? Naturally, the two countries would return to seeing each other as potential enemies. They just needed to think a bit about the future, and they'd realize it was in their best interests to let the other countries' soldiers fall to the sorceress kingdom. Plus, if they establish an alliance, people will flow between their nations, and that would make the intelligence warfare between them even more intense. Complete and mutual trust was never going to happen, even if an alliance was formed. It was more realistic to think of winning with only the theocracy's troops. And besides, even if war broke out with the sorceress kingdom, both parties would avoid total war so they don't destroy each other. If they didn't, the only winner would be the council state. The ideal situation would be a three-way deadlock, but that would require a more equal power balance. Submitting to the sorceress kingdom would not be a bad thing. We could work behind the scenes for decades or centuries until we make them crumble from the inside. It would also grant us a clearer picture of the sorceress kingdom's internal affairs. The empire became a vassal too, so it isn't completely unfeasible. Also, judging by how the empire was treated, it is not that bad of an option. But if we do that, will we be able to convince our citizens? It would be very difficult. Normal citizens won't ever be convinced, and if we handle it poorly, riots could break out. Just brand them as fools. Oi, that's a bit too extreme. Save that as the last resort. First things first. Unlike us, citizens don't have access to all this information. Then, should we make everything we know about the Sorceress Kingdom public? Aren't we keeping it a secret right now precisely because it led to unrest in the past? Stop arguing. Even if the Sorceress Kingdom took the kingdom's capital, they wouldn't have time to pacify the population and administer the new territory. We still have some time to think about such things. No, we can't say that for certain. After all, the Sorceress Kingdom already destroyed multiple cities and villages. There's no guarantee they won't do the same to the capital. The capital was very populous. Killing all those people seemed a bit unrealistic, but the Sorceress Kingdom might be capable of doing it. An undead, full of hatred of the living, how? We let our guard down because there was no unnecessary killing at Erantel, didn't we? The Empire is now a vassal. They have intervened with matters within the Holy Kingdom and the Draconic Kingdom, and now they are trampling over the kingdom. Next is our turn, I'm sure. Submit or die. There's nothing more cliched than that, but even so, I'm sure the Sorceress Kingdom will eventually force us to make that decision. If we want to avoid that, we'll need to solve one of our problems while confronting the Sorceress Kingdom. Indeed, we should annihilate that rotten elf as soon as possible. Although our future relationship with the Sorceress Kingdom is not yet clear, battling on two fronts would be foolish. A huge amount of effort was put into exterminating the elven country, even before the Sorceress Kingdom was established. That was also why they couldn't dedicate their full attention to the Sorceress Kingdom. Direct confrontation with the Sorceress Kingdom is the worst-case scenario, considering their overwhelming military power. Still, it is our duty to make plans with the worst case in mind, and I'm sure they'd prefer to end everything in a short time. The Sorceress Kingdom probably won't intervene while their army is in the kingdom, but it's possible they'll try to prevent us from responding to this sudden turn of events. For example, they could make undead appear at our borders as a distraction while pretending that they naturally appeared. We must take some steps to prepare for that possibility. Yes, at the same time, we must work to give humanity a chance, even if it's a small one. A few of them nodded faithfully. We'll evacuate some of the citizens to the land of hope. No, to the ends of despair. They may call it an evacuation, but the Theocracy didn't know of any other country that'd take their citizens in. Therefore, they weren't planning to make them refugees. The Theocracy had a single shelter outside its borders. You could call it a hidden village, but originally, 600 years ago, it was where humans lived when they only knew fear and flight. It was guarded by one of the 6 scriptures, the Ashendust Scripture. If we're going to evacuate them, we should start preparing right now. Who are we choosing? We can't choose randomly. We'll obviously stay behind. As for the rest of the citizens, how about we make them elect a representative and make that person choose? No, Lawrence and Sama should go. What? In the unlikely event that we're annihilated, only a former member of the Black Scripture like you would be able to protect and teach those who are left right. I'm not as strong as before, and besides, the heads of the organization are the ones who should remain no matter what happens. If they were to disappear, people would lose faith in the organization. But, no, I was thinking. As the discussion grew heated, the Pontifex Maximus finally spoke. Getting heated about this is pointless. It is an important matter, but let's postpone it for now. No one objected. Right, then, let us talk about the most important issue. The elves. It's fine if the rest of the elves run away, but we can't let the Elf King go. We have to corner that fucker no matter what. The Pontifex Maximus was like a completely different person, with palpable hatred on his face. Raymond nodded in agreement. This will give certain death a chance to choose. Indeed, even if the Platinum Dragon Lord sensed her leaving the country, he is unlikely to pursue the matter strongly given the current situation. Personally, I think we should give the Elf King a taste of all the suffering in the world, and then kill him. But that girl's happiness takes priority. I'm counting on you all. Understood. That's all for today, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next part.